Oh, you killed them.
Of course. That's what you're gonna do.
Oh, that's bad. I do. Well, you're doing quite well at the graphene table here. You've been drawing crowds all day. It's amazing.
And then people are gravitating toward
The polarization crowd was getting a little jealous with the amount of dwell time you've had here.
Yeah,
They were wondering if the group would ever move on to their table. So you've laid down the standard here.
The light will reflect. It feels like the water will be polarized in left direction. So you can look at it with your glasses on, and you'll be able to see where it's a sweat on the lake. But if you turn sideways, then suddenly you can't see anything.
All right.
That one's almost completely melted. Look at it.
I'm not really.
This one already melted at all.
I don't know.
They're essentially just polarizers.
So we use that insulation.
How's our ferrofluid doing here? It's kind of congealing.
Yeah.
Oh, that's too
Try
bad.
to move it around a little.
It takes, yeah, it's a little too thick.
Yeah.
They kind of form if you give them enough time.
Yeah, exactly.
Those spikes.
You gotta like lay it out every now and then. Just make it flat so that it's really big. And then it'll go there.
Yeah. Yeah, that's from your mishap. No, I laid it sideways. At least that's how it started. Very nice.
Attention Echo guests. It's time for Challenge Science, where we invite families to participate in an activity to design a creative solution to a problem.
So it needs like a little push, but
Yeah, that's good. Excellent. Yay! Good job.
I got this thing to
Orbits galore. That's pretty good. Oh yeah.
This is
Oh, it's not going to spin. You got to get the right one.
This one I think was more of had a point of contact.
You maybe need to move it.
One on top of the other.
Yeah, actually
Right,
it was.
yeah.
Yeah.
That kind
That's not
of-
too bad.
It's cool and you can.
Yeah, there you go. Nice. How are these going over? Are they just?
I don't think we've even shown them.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. There's a lot of stuff.
The cool
Yeah.
colors are really what we're
Yeah,
doing.
yeah.
That
Yeah.
gets people's attention.
Yeah.
To the Excellent Physics Show. Thank you for coming out and spending both your day at ECHO and part of your day here with us. So we're down from UVM, part of the physics department. We have a bunch of volunteers with hands-on activities that are not usually here at ECHO. We're also doing a little demonstration. So we'll have a series of activities, and I will need some volunteers throughout the show. Not right now, I'll ask you to raise your hand when I'm ready. But I wanted to start off with just a little bit of juggling, because it's a show, so you should have some juggling, right? And what is it that I am juggling right now? Eggs. Who would juggle eggs? You'd have to be crazy to juggle eggs, right? What could happen? You think we might have one fall and crack? Who thinks I'm using real eggs and who thinks I'm cheating? Who thinks I'm using real eggs? Who thinks I'm cheating and using fake eggs? Well, we might break one or two throughout the day just so that you can see that these are in fact real eggs. Now it's going to get a little messy here, so I need you to stay in your seat for right now. The next thing I'm going to try and do is walk on eggs. Now you've probably heard the phrase walking on eggshells, and it means you're in kind of a precarious situation. Maybe it's a little dangerous. Maybe it's a little nerve-wracking to be walking on eggs. To actually have all of my weight on these eggs. Do you think it's going to work, or am I going to have really messy feet? Messy feet? Oh, they're chanting now. Messy feet. Let's see if I can walk onto that next dozen eggs. Now, I took my shoes off to do this. And I'm not wearing big heavy boots or anything like that. And I'm carefully spreading my weight out as much as I can so that all of the eggs are holding just a little bit of my feet. And I'm sweating just a little bit, so sometimes it is stiff. But as long as I spread my feet out and I'm on a bunch of different eggs, my weight is supported by a bunch of them. Did I break one?
You're almost stepping on it.
So hopefully that convinces you that these are real eggs. Could I grab a towel? Somebody, Dave, could you grab one there? So you can tell these are in fact real eggs that I was just walking on. But the egg is actually great. It's got a nice round shape. And that spreads things around. So when I'm pushing on that egg, when I've got my foot pushing down, that round shape can spread a lot of that pressure, that force, that push. A force is just a push down. And so it spreads out over the egg. And this is why we have the tops of tall buildings are often domed, or you see arches over for bridges. That same arch, that curve, helps spread things out. Yes?
If you walked on one egg and you still spread it out, your feet would it still break?
What happened when I stepped on just one egg? Just one egg. And it wasn't even my full weight from both feet. It was just my heel. So I have to spread this out. So some of you who are maybe a little smaller than I am, and your feet aren't quite as big, you might need to wait a little while till you can do this. But you should ask your parents to walk on eggs for you. Does that sound good? And now I need somebody to help me catch eggs. Who's excited to catch eggs? All right. So I want you to come up. I want you to come up. And I need two tall people. So this is a good opportunity for the parents to volunteer as well. Any parents willing to help me catch eggs? I love it when the parents get volunteered. All right. So we're going to work together. I've got a nice yellow sheet so it hides when I make a mistake. So, can you hold this corner for me? You come here and hold this corner for me. If you would come over here. And you're going to hold these two corners right up there. Nice and wide. All right. And I want you to get a little bit closer to her. All right. So now I've got a nice big target. There's some space between you and that sheet, right? Good. Nice long arms. And I'm going to throw an egg. And the Echo staff didn't know that they were signing us up for this, but I'm going to throw an egg at my brave volunteers. And we know that the eggs are pretty strong, but we also know that you don't usually throw them. So So what do you think is going to happen when I throw an egg at my volunteers?
It's not going to break.
Not going to break. Who thinks it's not going to break? Who thinks it's going to break and I won't get to do the 2 o'clock show? All right, ready? Arms out in front of you. Here we go. Ready? Set. Give him a big hand. Thank you. Big hand. So it didn't break. And now, that probably seems like, oh, it's just a cute little trick that we can do in a show. It's just a bed sheet tossing eggs. But this is actually a matter of life and death for some people. Who here has driven in a car? Cars have airbags. So an airbag is a rapidly deployed sheet, so that if you're suddenly in an accident, rather than hitting something like the windshield or your dashboard, which is hard, like the floor, you hit that airbag and it cushions you. It slows down the time that you slow down. So you accelerate less and you take less damage. You can survive like that egg. Now, we're going to do a few more things with eggs. We can catch eggs slowly, we can catch eggs fast, and it changes what happens to the egg. But now we're going to try taking things away that are supporting eggs. And I need a volunteer who's an artist. Somebody can draw. Can you draw? All right. So I want you to draw a face on that egg for me. And then we'll see what type of fish we end up with. And then we're going to try another trick. Has it got a big mouth? All right, it's a happy egg. Great. Now I need that cap, just the cap. And we're going to balance the cap on top of the plate. Your happy little egg on top of the cap. Now what do you think would happen if we knocked that plate away?
It would fall into the water.
Fall into the water? Who thinks it's going to fall into the water? Who
Actually,
thinks that's a terrible place for me to have 3 dozen eggs?
if we lifted up the cap in the egg and the plate.
So here's how we're going to do it. Can you come stand over here for me? Right here. I'm going to put my foot on just this regular broom and pull this back. Can you pull that with one finger? Just one finger. She's going to let it go. We're going to try and hit that plate with the broom, which will hopefully be going pretty fast. Pull back just a little more. All right. Can we get a count? 3, 2, 1. Give us a hand. So we took the plate away, and we did so quickly that it couldn't really transfer any sideways motion to the egg. So rather than the egg going flying with the plate, it dropped right down into our water. A mini Lake Champlain, if you will. We have to tie it into the lake here at Echo all the time. All right, now I need another volunteer to help me clean up this next bit. Yeah? Ready? So, I have a large bucket of water with a raw egg inside of it. And it happens to be seated on a tablecloth. Have you ever seen the trick where you pull the tablecloth out from underneath the flowers? Oh, okay. Well, we'll see if it works anyway. Can you stand right here for me? All right, you get to hold the stick, and here's what's going to happen. I'm going to hold the tablecloth for you, and I want you to wait for it, let me talk through. You're going to take the stick, you're going to chop through this curtain, this tablecloth. And if you chop really well, this sheet will hopefully slide right up from under the bucket and not soak me with water. Can you look at me? Are we agreed that that's a good thing? All right. So I want you to think about it, big chop, all the way through the floor. All right? And they're going to count for you. 3, 2, 1. So it can just sweep out little bit more. All right. So we've got our broom again. And my broom is supported on 2 hands right now. And as I move my hands closer, whichever one is supporting more of the weight of the broom, has a little bit more push on it. And so there's a little more friction, so that hand doesn't slop. So I can move my hands together, and whichever one was further away from the center of mass would move, whereas the other one would stay still. But this is my broom. You know that I know where the center of mass of my broom is. So let's change where the middle of the mass is, where the middle of the weight is. What's up? Question? What's your question? You just kept your hands up? All right, go ahead. So, I got a bag here that we can put some eggs in, and I need a volunteer from the audience who hasn't already volunteered. Go ahead and come on up, come on up. And I want you to pick how many eggs we should put in the bag. All right? Don't take the cracked ones. Go ahead and put those in the bag. Gently. You put a few more in? All right. Can you gently place them in the bag? Reach all the way to there we go. Real eggs. Working without a net. All right. So, wait right here. Put your hands up. But it's the audience. So we're going to hold it. So, hands up like this. All right. Can you hold that weight? Now, not your thumbs, just your fingers. Just your fingers. Right there. And then, you move your hands in just a little bit, slowly, and you pause every now and then. Now, whichever hand is further away from the center of mass isn't supporting as much. And so he doesn't know where the center of mass is, where the balance point of this broom is. And if he guesses wrong, flying all those eggs right over. But as he slowly moves his hands together, slipping. Oh, now that hand's moving a little bit. Working his way. Keep your fingers straight if you can. There it is. Keep going. Finding the balance point. And you can do this with any size object that you can evenly slide on your hands. You're getting there. You can do it. All right, when his hands come together, I want you to give him a big round of applause. You got it! Give him a big hand! Now we've done a bunch of different things with eggs, but what do we normally do with eggs? We don't chuck them, we don't splat them. We cook with them. Eggs are great food. That's why I go through at least a dozen every day in my house. And so for this next activity, I need somebody who likes to cook. Somebody who hasn't volunteered. Am I running out of people who haven't volunteered yet? You want to come on up for me? Come on. All right. So you like to cook? Can you crack this egg into that valve for me? You can chuck the shell right in the trash can. So we're going to make some cake. We're just going to mix up something. All right. The egg's in there. Now use the fork. Give it a good stir. Break up that yolk. Make sure it's all nice and mixed up. Alright, looks great. Go ahead and have a seat in that chair for me. Now normally with cooking shows, you know, they mix up all the ingredients and then they cut to a pre-prepared one. But we don't have that here, so we're going to have to cook this up really fast. So we've got our egg, we've got our water, we'll add a little bit of flour, and now, tray for you. So we're going to try something. I want you to think about cake. I want you to think really hard about cake. And we'll see if we can use the heat coming off of your brain from thinking about cake to bake this cake. So we've got our egg mixture here. We're going to pour it in. Are you thinking about cake?
Yes.
You thinking really hard about cake? What's your favorite type of cake? Chocolate cake. Really popular. My favorite is pineapple upside down cake. You can hold the pineapple. Did you want to look up? Look straight up. Alright, so hold that tray right there, just a sec. There it is. There's our cake. Pineapple upside down cake. Thank you very much. Go ahead and take it out. So, as you probably figured out, I cheated. The flour was not flour. The flour was sodium polyacrylate. It's a very absorbent polymer that links together. It's actually one of the polymers that we're using in the demo, in the hands-on activity. So if you want to play around with that more, you can. And it binds to water. It's the same stuff that shows up in diapers. Got just one demonstration left. And this one I have to do, but you can all cheer if you think it's going to work. So we've got 2 eggs. And we've seen that sometimes eggs are strong and sometimes eggs are delicate. And I've got a 2x2 board here, and we're going to balance this board on top of these 2 eggs. So it's 2 inches by 2 inches by 4 feet. So this board is being held by 2 eggs. And here in Vermont we like to chop firewood, so I'm going to chop the board. And if I can hit the middle of the board and hit it fast enough and hard enough, the middle will break and move down, and then the ends would actually move up. So if we believe our theory, I should be able to crack this board without cracking this egg. Who thinks it's going to work? Who thinks I'm going to get egg on my face? Alright. So I'm going to chop. Try and chop right through this board. 1, 2. You're not counting it. Alright. All together. We'll count down. 3, 2, 1. And the eggs are actually... from UVM here. They're volunteering their Saturday on this glorious day to bring science and joy to you. So if you want to come over and swing through this exhibit space as part of your trip to Echo, thank you for coming out. Have a great day. Thank you.